need to change, and we need fundamental change. Now listen, as Cornell said, you know, we don't agree on everything. I've been to prison since I was 16 years old. I've been in state prison, I've been in federal prison, and I was born in Harlem Hospital. You know, so I was born into a prison. You know. So when I talk about prison, I'm not talking about something from an academic perspective. I'm talking about, man, I experienced this. You know what I'm saying? Solitary confinement, I experienced that. These false dichotomies that we keep engaging in, man. Children in prison, women in prison, old people in prison. They are human beings in cages. That's what they are. That's what they all have in common. They're human beings in cages, man. You know, and this is what we got to start, we got to take control of this language, man. We got to take control of this narrative, man. We got to start eliminating the things that disconnect us, that divide us. You know, until we do that, until we begin to connect the dots, we are finished. We ain't going nowhere. The only movement we're going to have, in the words of my friend Jamal Joseph, is a bowel movement.
The response to these films has been essentially from three different points of view. Those that were looking at it from the point of view of the destruction of the Harlem community, and those that were looking at these individuals as the worst possible kind of individuals. And then there were those that looked at them as heroes also. The one thing that Barnes and Lucas have in common is both of them come from backgrounds of extreme poverty and neglect, you understand? Role models were the people who they found in the community, in the streets. Out the 60s and 70s, we watched these communities deteriorate. They didn't deteriorate, and these communities weren't destroyed by drug dealers. These communities were destroyed by governmental neglect, right? Economic neglect. All the jobs fled to the suburbs, and we're seeing this in now we're seeing what happened to Harlem at the end of the 60s and going into the 70s, the deterioration of these communities. We're seeing this in industrial communities all across this country. Literally become a snitch nation, you know, where if you see something, say something, has become where we're heading. I remember as a kid going to school, you know, learning about Benedict Arnold, you know, one of America's first traders, you know. If they put that label on you as being a Benedict Arnold, you know, it's something they taught in grade school.
I'm not going to answer another question. You just says I'm not under arrest and I'm going to walk out.
As the story goes, that they arrested Herbie and he was in one room, and they had arrested his mother for violation of federal narcotics laws, and she was in another room. And that the agents told Herbie, we have your mother. She's under arrest for violation of narcotics laws, federal narcotics laws, but we can do some deals if you would cooperate. And as the story goes, Herbie looked the agents in their eye and said, my mom can do her time. Now you fast forward to the 90s and the year 2000. Nowadays, nobody wants to go to jail. You have a generation that says, well, I don't like this guy anyway, and if I have to give him up or give up the organization to get out, I'm going to get out.
But usually happens in situations where trust is betrayed. Betrayal begets betrayal. Loyalty and trust was important, as it's important in any relationship. You know, I mean, whether it's between a parent and child, a husband and wife, you know, friends, business partners, you know. At the core of every relationship, there's the element of trust. That's number one, because there can be no relationship without trust. Be honest with ourselves. You know, the worst thing, the thing that we find most painful and hurtful is when we're betrayed by somebody that we trust. Isn't that true? I think it's true. Like a chain reaction, you know. You betray me, I get revenge. My revenge incorporates betrayal of you. Maybe that's the way for me to get back at you. You know, I'm opposed to betrayal. You know, trust is very important to me in every relationship. You know, and if I detect any deviation, if I have any reason to doubt the trust of a person I'm in a relationship with, I generally end those relationships. According to him, he was betrayed by the mother of his children. He was betrayed by his girlfriend. He was betrayed by his protege, Guy Fisher. He was betrayed by a guy that he befriended and showed love, Mr. Johnson. All four of these people came into his life as a result of his own choices. Now, that's kind of a difficult thing to live with, dear man. To accept the fact that you made bad decisions.